Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Welcome back to the DK19 channel for a little bit more D&D. Let's just put a light in there so you guys can actually see me clearly. Welcome everybody back to the DK19 channel for a little bit more of our wonderful Dungeons and Dragons stuff with the Silver Talon Guild applicants. They have just finished doing a week of downtime activities in the wonderful city of Neverwinter, and they're now heading back to the Silver Talon Guild Hall to collect their thoughts and then head off into their next test. So thank you, Shadow, for the host, and also Kev for the host as well. And Jem has an auto host as well, so thanks for putting me on your auto host, baby. I love you. We do not have everybody right now. We are missing a person. We are missing Oro, who plays Perry, which means Darsam's probably going to be a little bit depressed.
Because she'll cope. She's all right. She trusts him.
She'll manage. She'll be fine. But I am joined by the rest of the party, which means that we've got Dotan, who's played by Grav.
Watch out.
We've got Anakis, who is played by Kevin.
Hello there, Fox.
We've got Azra, who's played by Shadow. And we've got Marcus, who's played by Mickey. He was here a moment ago.
Oh,
Oi!
hello there. I
There he
forgot
is.
that I left my push to talk on.
You wonderful bellend. Guys, if you check in Discord as well, I have sent the link that you need to get into the temporary game, which is the instead of me creating 3 separate dungeons within the existing game world that are then never going to get used again, I've just created everyone a separate game for the 3 different groups. For the dungeons, then I can just wipe them out after they're finished without affecting the rest of the game. But your character sheets have been fully imported to everything. You are as you were. So the idea behind tonight's session is not so much jumping straight into the dungeon as so much it's going to be spending a little bit of time just like actual focusing properly on you guys.
Our mages have detected
A bit more of an RP heavy session, because even when we were in the city, it wasn't. Yeah, there was other things that are going on as well. But the idea behind tonight is that actually we do have a moment where we get to know a bit more about the characters and what they're looking for from the Silver Talons. Why have they decided to join the Silver Talons? And that's the sort of
the exposition and filler episode.
a little bit. So let's just actually get some audio on. Might be a good idea as well.
Question, where are we currently?
You are, well, you'll find out in a second. You
Cool.
are, if I press play on this one. There you go. Have some, Grav, you haven't joined, nor has Azra. Neither of you have joined the new one.
I
Not
thought
the
I
new
clicked on the wrong thing.
You may have done. It's called Sunday Wolves 2.0.
Right, I thought we were doing the adventuring
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I see it. No, there was 2. There was 2 pins. I clicked on the wrong one.
Oh, you probably clicked on the image I sent.
Good job.
I done did a bad.
Yeah, I
There it
shall.
is.
So, it was on the Sunday afternoon when you were headed back to the guild hall. You're back into the cart with I believe it was he had Fulric Bracesmith. It was your chaperone, and everyone gets all their stuff together, jumps into the cart, and heads off back to the guild hall. In the cart, in the guild hall, waiting for you in your barrack. You've got like a lockers, like foot locker things, chest at the bottom of your beds, which is where all the things that you ordered are waiting for you. So in terms of your uniform, any armor or weapons that you ordered have been put there as well. And we just put you onto that panel. There you go.
Seals and stuff.
Indeed.
Oh, let me add that my character sheet say that we got the new uniform.
I need to actually, now you've joined, I need to actually assign you your character sheets, because whilst I
Yeah.
put them into the game, I can assign them to you until you were there. So let's just give you control. So
Might redraw my character again.
you can do that. Just make sure you send me an updated image so I can update the other
Will
stuff
do.
as well.
Will do. I want a proper full body shot
Yeah.
now.
I love the discrepancy between what comes up on like the book where it says Azra half health bard and then the metalhead bard that's actually on the thing. It's brilliant.
It's it's a good chuckle. We like it. And
I like the thought that he is just always walking around with that hand up, just.
I have to admit, the picture you used for Dotan is fucking badass.
the one on the books.
The one in the character play as Dotan. So I don't know if that's the books or not.
Oh, that one. Now that image, that's the original image that was done for Dotan. As we kind of had a bit of a dabble around a few different images for Dotan in the end.
That one's just so cool.
Yeah, it is a good.
Which one is it?
The
which is on
original
the
one.
gargoyle.
Yeah.
The one on the gargoyle. What was
yeah,
the
original.
books?
The bits
The one
on the
Twitch
stream.
Ah, the one on the stream, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just realised they are different.
Yep.
So I'm just, because like these are things I couldn't do until you guys had actually joined the game.
That's cool. Well, while you're sort of adminning, I'm gonna go for P.
I was gonna say this is
lock my door.
you're given a bit of a wake up as there is a soft bell tolling through the halls that lets you know that it is.
What do I
8 o'clock
put
in the morning.
under? Because I was given nice quality clothes as a temporary thing to wear until we actually got the ones that we paid for. What are they
Yeah.
called? What would we call them?
It's just
guild uniform?
well, you can call it guild uniform, but it is just classed as fine clothing.
I'll find clothing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put next to it. Guild uniform. I can't remember what I planned it to be. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be like blue cloth. Was it blue? I forgot the guild colour. What's the guild colour?
Grey.
Grey. Okay, grey and fur is basically all it is.
You'd think the fucking dog had never met me before.
Back in a second, I'm gonna close my eye. My door, so then you don't hear people shouting around the house.
I've normally got my door shut. You can still hear the bloody dogs.
I'm trying to find a decent like Guild Hall background music we can use instead of the audio stuff that we've got, but meh. You know, I know what we can do. I know what we can do. It's probably about as suitable. No, God, not that one. No, that's not the one. I didn't mean to click that one.
That's fucking Elven Village.
Yeah, that's got a little bit peculiar.
Isn't it ironic?
There's-
Also, I've been meaning to ask you about this. What's your tattoo, DK?
which one? I've got 3.
The one on your shoulder or arm area.
I've got this one here, which is a wolf howling at the moon from a mountainside.
Of course.
I've got my
Did
family
you get that
crest.
off a t-shirt?
I did not. It was a design that was made specially for me.
Ah.
It was
And
based.
the other
it was designed
40,000
as a
people
cut.
that have that tattoo.
No, the design was done for me. I know the guy that did the design. It is
Yeah,
a unique
I
design.
know, we're taking the piss because you have a wolf tattoo.
Also, is there any chance you could like stitch some sequins around the moon part of it or something? I think that's obligatory.
You guys are like
That's
one fucking
really,
step away from
really
being
unfortunate that Dotan's just had her head explode.
Like, you guys are like one fucking line away from having your
It's just-
characters like.
It's
have
like,
an
why?
explosion, And then
Why?
like,
I have
just
several
fucking
that I
shit
could use-
themselves and die.
No. It's because I like sort of caught them on stream the other day and didn't like. take it in that you actually had them. So, no, because I've got 2 tattoos. I've got my Full Metal Alchemist Homunculus tattoo on my wrist, and my Mimikyu on my arm.
I've got my wife's name on one arm, and on the other arm I've got something off of Final Fantasy VII.
I've
There you
got a tattoo
There's
on
some
my right
we got some
arm,
ambience
and that's
there
going to
for us
fade
now.
out soon because it's a temporary one. I'm kidding. I don't
Aww.
know.
I don't think I've got one tattoo. It's just not finished yet. Okay, so you this is the basically the sounds echoing through the guild hall. The morning as everyone starts to wake up.
They are a bit fucking loud.
No, I'm going to turn that audio was a little bit louder because normally they are a little bit louder, so I just turned it down, but didn't turn it down as much.
That's good. That's more background music there.
Yeah, there we go.
Hearing those clanglings, I'm half expecting bump the knives, bend the forks.
Yeah, so these are sounds that are sort of like echoing down from upstairs, where the main hall is, and all of you are waking up. It's sort of in the view as you've got it here. You're in your barrack in your bunks.
So are we like free to move?
You're free to move. You're also free to converse.
I'm going to stand here and scream at the top of my lungs, "Good morning, everyone!" And then sort of dart behind them here so they don't find me, except this one.
Perry does not wake up. He sort of like snorts and rolls back over.
Okie dokie. We're sort of skipping about at this point.
Yes, I'm going to hand the floor over completely to you guys at this point, though, to interact as you see fit, which may result in Azure being about to be murdered.
Da 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 da. I'm not. You won't even know what I've said until I've said it, and you still won't know what it is.
Didn't mean to do that.
No, I mean, I think the rest of the players' characters are possibly going to murder Azra for shouting "Good morning."
That's fine. I'm an elf.
Yes.
We do early mornings well. I'm a half elf at least.
Morning.
Violence? What?
I'm just lying back going, oh, Jesus, fuck.
I'm just gonna stand in this corner here like this and just sort of lightly music.
I know they said bards could be loud people, but I didn't really think they meant like that. Marcus, is like the kindest. I tried to make Marcus the nicest, most like lovable
Passive-aggressive
character
son of a
possibly
bitch
can,
in Pokemon.
but he's turned into this passive aggressive. Like half of me wants to break the guitar, and the other half of me is like, no, I'm gonna be nice and just admire his music and move forward. Ah! He's gonna have like a split personality situation soon. Bad Marcus, good Marcus.
Every now and again, I'm just gonna cast a random dissonant whispers just to confuse you.
Marcus
this
has
one,
his
the other one.
evil arc.
The other one, the
Darkus Marcus.
fuck it, what's it called?
Darkus. Oh my god, I need to actually just make this work. Like Marcus is really nice, and then out of the way he's like really
One of
mean,
his
but only in
traits
certain
has a split
situations.
personality, becomes the most evil son of a bitch in the world, just turns into like an evil dragon demon, like "Rrr."
No, he just does. But his idea of being evil, like Darkus, actually the evil thing is that he will like hide your sock somewhere. Like, that's as far as his evil side goes.
He's Gru from Despicable Me.
Like I'm gonna move everything slightly to the left.
Oh no, don't do that. Jeez, no. That would drive me mental. A friend of mine used to do that to me. Oh, asshole. See, I'm just like sat in the corner lightly musicking. Only lightly though, nothing loud. Just to wake you up.
We've got chests at the end of our bed. Is that where we're going to pick up our stuff from?
Yes, that is indeed where all of your assorted things that you were waiting for have been put and dumped.
Well, I woke up on this bed and I don't see a chest.
Yeah, you didn't really have anything ordered, did you?
I got the clothes sorted, didn't
Yeah,
I?
you had the clothes ordered. They were like neatly folded up on your
Okay,
on
that's
your
fine
bed.
In which case then, I'm gonna grab my shit.
I'm happy. I'm happy with just clothes.
I can't remember what I ordered, but I'm going to have a look in this chest.
Did you make a note of it on your character sheet what you ordered?
No.
I think I did. Holy shit, I think I did.
It's not like I said to you, make a note on your character sheets of what you've ordered.
Yeah, no. Mine was my seal and the uniform. That was it. So yeah, I've got like the seal and the uniform.
You should have basically everything as well.
Don't think I ordered anything, honestly.
Well, I know
I'm
I've
fairly
got
sure
some
you.
multicolored leather armor.
Yeah,
that
so
I
you've
picked
got
up from somewhere already.
you've got your multiple armor. Your multiple armor. I mean, was there anything? The other thing is there anything in particular you guys are actually particularly looking to obtain before you do go into the next your next area, as it were, your next.
I want to
area?
stop dying and actually not do 0 damage if I hit an attack.
I'd like some form of ranged weapon. Like a secondary where
So
ranged
basically,
thing.
what we want is development of our characters, it seems.
Yep.
Well, speaking of which,
Yeah.
any chance of a level up
Not yet.
anytime soon?
You don't have to ask the DM for a
No,
level
yeah.
up.
You know,
No, not yet.
You guys are like
been a while.
poking hornets' nests.
It,
at the
has been a
moment.
while. Well, how much has been actually been? I mean, because like to begin with, you had you started at level 2, and then you got to level 3 after you cleared 2 areas of the testing dungeon, and you got to level 4 for completing the dungeon as a whole, and then you went on a holiday for a week. So
no, but it seems like years, Dan.
If anything, you should lose XP for getting pissed every other fucking day.
That is a good point, actually.
Surely it does something to your intellect.
oh shit, we got a raid. We got raided by Dead Linux. Thank you for that one, dude. I don't know why I didn't get the alert come up on that one. I was not ignoring you. I promise. I can only apologise.
Nice
But
job
thank
with
you for the raid, and thank you. I hope you enjoyed Hand of Fate. Thanks. Hope
Yep.
everyone is enjoying their days.
Yep, good job with Hands of Fate. Such a good game. But it will kick you in the ass at the most annoying places. It's brilliant. I love it.
I'm just gonna have a quick look at the. I don't know what's going on with the alert box. I'm gonna remove and re-add the alert box. No idea what's
I
going on
think
with that, but well, it's misbehaving
the
itself.
2 things I was waiting for were a badge thing, like a insignia.
Yeah,
With, seal with a spider on it. And for clothes, it was going to be something nice with it, with an hood.
Something nice with a nerd. I think that was what you ordered as well, if memory serves.
Yeah, that was what I was ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Mine
things
was-
that you've ordered have arrived.
Mine was just my fancy dress uniform and my seal, which is that of a treble clef.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
my
the seals aren't sent to you. Basically, you're told. You worked out what designs you wanted as your seals, and they have the record of them has been made. You say your seals have been sent to you. You have each all got in your chest or on your beds or whatever. There's an extra tag, an extra silver tag, to add to your existing silver tags, which does have your seal emblazoned on it.
Alright. So it's like the Shire pin that Frodo and the Hobbits wear.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let's head off to Isengard.
Stuff and things. There's only one Hobbit now.
And does not simply walk to Mordor.
Also known as some people set off, stuff happens, the end.
Of course,
Going on an adventure.
the irony is that actually what they did was they did simply walk into Mordor.
Yep.
Mhm.
When Gandalf had that flying moth the whole time, the bastard.
So yeah, so you're here in your barracks. You've got your stuff. Breakfast is available to you guys.
So I'm just sort of sidle along and sort of stand around here. Like, so how is everybody this morning after my fine and wondrous wake-up call?
Hungry.
I just shoot you a glare, say, don't even fucking talk to me.
I just sort of lean in and pat his head and then run.
Can I throw a fireball at him?
I mean,
It seems he has a proficient.
That's got to be a
technically,
cantrip,
yes.
isn't it?
You can fire bolt is a cantrip, so you can technically throw one at him if
Right.
you'd like.
I'm going to use my acrobatics to get out the fucking way.
Well, I mean, he's going to be needing to do a firebolt attack, and then you're going to need to
Nah, I'll let
he
it.
wants
I'll
to
let
do
it
it.
slide. I'll let it slide this time. Just
Hit
this
the wall
time.
next to him. Just send a warning.
Just right at the
Direction.
feet, just shit! as I roll down the stairs.
Will your loot still work if I chuck an arrow at it? That's what I want to know.
Probably not. I'd rather you didn't though, because I kind of need that to like use like half my magic. So.
Oh, it'll be fine.
What's the worst that could happen?
If a
I thought-
fucking
I thought
half elf
fine.
bard without his loot, he's just a fucking half elf, wandering about being a nuisance. Come on.
This way, he's quietly being a nuisance.
Oh, don't fucking try me.
I've just remembered why the this particular thing I haven't already set up a like a meal hall area for you, which is that there isn't one that fits this area. There's a barrack, but that's about the best I can do. So let's go Theatre of the Mind.
Theatre of the mind.
Theatre of the Mind,
I like a good old mind.
which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Well, as long as I can do a full Raven's Bluff breakfast, I'm not fussed.
I think the nearest I get to it would be this, what they call the ballroom, is what it's classed as. I'm gonna need to put some tables and shit in it.
I want the ability
yeah,
to
thanks.
control wood. That's the thing that I think I need to develop now.
The ability to control wood.
Not the
Okay,
kind
so-
that some people are probably thinking about right now, but
Fucking summons.
that way I can make it so my mask that I wear actually moves. That's my end goal.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, to be honest.
Because I think people forget, or I forget myself, that I wear a mask made out of wood.
I'd like some more useful magic, to be fair.
I don't want useful magic. What's the point of having useful magic if you don't look cool doing stuff?
Well, there is a small library and training area for magic. There is also the ability to train yourself in certain skills as well. So it would, depending on what you're after. And they have got a forge, so you can have some things made for you. But anything you do get made is always going to be very, very basic stuff.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I think I want
With a very
like,
limited supply. They'll be able to make you a short sword, but not necessarily make you a rapier or a long sword. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Would I like as a bard? Would I be able to learn like some kind of like projectile magic attack? Kind of like sort of like a firebolt, but like a magic bolt.
Well, I mean,
Because being an elf,
you have got
fire-
access. You have got access to a lot of things. I mean, you could, if you want to, you could change around the fluff of it and make it so that it was like an air bolt or something like that instead. A actual magic bolt would be magic missile, which is a little bit different.
If yeah, so
but, yeah.
like basically, so what it does is like compresses air and then explodes it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
a magic version of the Air Zuka. So if you guys,
Yeah,
if
pretty
you
much.
guys have got spells available to you and you want to change the fluff of them to have it so you've got your own particular spin on that, you can do that. That's when you're changing the fluff that doesn't change the actual effects of the magic, then
Yeah.
I've got no
Like-
problems with that.
I want to have it so it's something that he can do like without like needing to like do anything else. It's just like it's one.
Well, the
one,
thing
like,
is,
inherent skill.
what is whether or not he actually has access to that spell. Anyway, because you would need to have access to the firebolt spell in order to be able to like do that. So let's just double check
Right.
that.
I
In
hope
this
so.
way. What means there's also matters like what spells you've already learned, because learning cantrips, believe it or not, learning cantrips is generally harder than learning spells, because the spell is tends to be written down for you. Cantrips is sort of you're channeling power into a spell, which means that you've got more control over it. With a cantrip, it's something you're meant to just know off the top of your head and just go like boom, done.
Yeah.
So it's oddly enough, they're actually harder to learn.
When you think about it, then it's almost perfect that vicious mockery is one of my cantrips.
Yeah, that
It's got that
is
innate ability to piss people off.
that is a bard's version of firebolt. Is
well,
vicious
fair
mockery.
See, I just was talking about trying to learn magic. Do you know how Druidcraft you can make seeds pollinate
Oh.
or open? And he just wants to control wood for
For
movement reasons,
for
for
the
expression.
for the purposes of having of what you actually want to use it for, I will let you use Druidcraft to control your mask.
Brilliant! Yay! That's only so he can show emotion for his mask.
Just
considering
just
the
because of the
smiling.
very much the specifics of exactly what you're looking for from it. It's not going to give you like it's not going to like actually have any game effect, as it were.
No, it's
aside
just
from
flavour.
it's just some fluff and flavor. So you can, for the purposes of that and only for controlling your mask, you can use
Yeah.
Druidcraft for it. You can't use Druidcraft to like, oh, I'm going to control this door to make it open.
Oh
No,
yeah,
you're not
no,
gonna.
no.
You can't do that sort of shenanigans. But you have got some more control.
Brilliant. That's all I wanted him for.
I am, just to try and sort of like make everybody feel a bit better, I'm going to use prestidigitation to make everybody smell the sort of smell of a nice field, something somewhere nice and like serene.
Okay.
That definitely works on
The room
Marcus.
smells of a
Marcus is
meadow.
like, I like the smell.
So yeah, the air,
That's like home.
The air is filled with the lovely, lush, sort of green, fresh grass, dew on a summer's day, all that kind of good stuff.
Is there anyone we need to go talk to today?
Well, you don't necessarily, as in like the day you've woken up today, you don't necessarily have to go and do the dungeon on Monday morning.
Right.
In that regard, so if you do want to like, you know, if you want to like do essentially like some quick play stuff, if you guys, if you want to do a couple of sessions, which equates to you guys spending a week chilling out in the guild hall, waiting for your appointment to come up. You know, if there is things you want to do, if there are, then we can do that. It won't be as many options, and as there won't be like little questions go off on like you did with the Neverwinter downtime. But there is, if you guys want to make so that your characters have some time to collect their thoughts and maybe spend a bit of time like trying to learn a new spell, which basically would give you the option to swap out some of your spells maybe, or having a bow made for Azra, for example. If there's little things you want to do like that, things that aren't massively complicated, you can do that.
I can only, apparently, according to my proficiencies, I can only use martial tools. Yeah, never mind. I'll shut up. I think having like an elven longbow would be good.
I was thinking of something
Elven
like,
longbows are likely, but a longbow certainly.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, is it like a guild representative we can go speak to just about the guild, like life as a guildsman? Because again, Marcus was kind of like drafted in this by Sheila out of the blue, so he has no
Yeah.
idea what he really kind of.
Well,
find
you've
out
got
for.
you can go and you can spend some time with Thoric if you'd like. Who
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
actually given him a token in here. Let's give
I
him
think
a
that's a
token.
good idea. I'm gonna go with Marcus on this one because I'm quite curious about this. I want to learn more about the etiquette of things, so I don't start pissing people off instantly.
Let me just find
Wait,
a decent.
you
little-
haven't started yet?
You
See,
guys
I-
don't count. It's the officials I need to keep happy, not you guys. I just need to keep you alive.
doesn't want to accidentally upset anybody. Doing it deliberately is another matter altogether.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. I
definitely.
don't want to like go about my usual nonsensical, whimsical bullshit, and then get us all kicked out of the guild because I'm an idiot.
If you're an idiot, I'm just gonna be like, yep, well, I'm sorry, but his actions do not reflect who I am as a person, so. Bye bye. I'll join the guild.
Hey, this is proper development. Azra has realised that he started to annoy you folks with the way he is, and he wants to change. He wants to be the best bard he can be.
I'm redrawing everything to do with.
I need to talk to someone about some fine leather work. Now I know there was someone that made us a saddle for the horse previously. I can't remember who that was. There was someone in the city that made did some leather work.
Yes, there was some leatherwork being made. The leatherwork being made for you by the guys at the Pangolins Hide, which was Warren Steppen.
Ha. I would like to go and talk to that person.
They are in
point.
Neverwinter. At the Pangolins Hide.
The back of the old town.
So how much is it going to cost me to get a bow made?
If
I
it's
have
just-
to come
they
some
can-
total of a gold.
They can you bit of asking around. Let me just put he's probably gonna be a massive. He's not meant to be. There we go. There he is.
Can I like do a persuasion for like getting it for free?
Good morning,
Hello.
you brave wolves.
Oh, whoa.
Is
Well,
this
then-
the person that we were going to talk to?
This
or
is
the person
this
that
is Fulric. Fulric's coming
Yeah.
to give you to see how you're all doing. You've got back and you've had yourself a decent night's sleep. How are you all doing?
Azra approaches him and shakes his hand quickly, and then goes back into his corner.
Yeah. Well, Marcus is more of a solemn kind of like, well, not solemn, but like a quiet bow.
Hey, you guys do know Fulric. Fulric was the guy who was at the who was in the
At the
blue
table,
stallion
yeah.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
The one who planted it in my
just-
brain
he
that I'm a
bows.
dragonborn.
Dotan will lean forward in her bed and chuck a salute round the corner at him, and then go back again.
Grunt a little bit.
I'm just lying a bit going,
So, how are you all doing? What's your how was your time in Neverwinter in the city at this lap around, as it were? Don't know if any of you've been there before.
I am going to say that it was great fun. It was good to get out and do some work.
Oh, you'll have you working pretty hard enough. Well, once you get fully licensed, as long as you
I would-
survive.
I'd like to ask about the sort of etiquette of this place, because I have this penchant for pissing people off without meaning to. I'd like to avoid that as much as possible.
Basically, if you see someone who looks like they're really important, like particularly big flowing robes or really rather shiny armor, just don't talk unless they
Okie
talk
dokie.
to you directly.
Got ya.
And if they do, then it's probably they're asking you a question or statements as that. So it's just be sensible.
Okay,
I would
he
like to be
sort
honest.
of wilts back into his corner and just carries on whittling.
I was invited by a friend who is no longer with the party. I mean, I love
Yes,
these
I-
guys. Now I've got to know them. But I'm not entirely sure what the whole point of these guilds would have been, or at
Well,
least for me.
the
I'm
idea
just
is-
asked.
In the world, there was always this. There's always been a need for adventurers and mercenaries of the like. There's always been jobs that need doing that you can't necessarily trust, like city guards and stuff to do, because it's less about defending an area, more about going out and dealing with a threat. So there's always been jobs that need doing, monsters that need slaying, damsels that need rescuing, particularly are my favourite. There's but there's always been things that need to be taken care of. And that's what the guilds do. So there is a full league of adventurers even.
It's like we're the expendable mass that go and do the jobs that they can't for anyone else.
Well, no. The idea is that that you'll end up bringing renown to the guild by performing in the way that you should be.
So you're saying that the aim of a guild is to help people?
Yes, to help people make a bit of money doing it.
Follow
Get
me.
get some renown.
At the words perform and money, Azra's little elf ear sort of prick up a little bit. Ooh, I'm listening.
Well, I mean, the guild makes most of the money because obviously, the guild is the ones that are putting their name on the line, as it were. If you fuck up and you die, well, you die. This is not going to be any more of an issue for you. If you fuck up and you die, then that means that then a Silver Talon representative has failed to complete the task. So, the Silver Talon Guild is more at risk than you are in that regard. So that's why it's in your best interest to not die.
It's all about keeping the name.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay then.
I'm good at
If
that.
it means helping people, then I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. I mean, I might not have the greatest track record so far, but I'm working on it.
Good. So, we don't have Sheila anymore, as you pointed out. But we have got the rest of you here. It does look like young Perry there seems to be a little bit. Who's scratching something?
Sorry, there's stuff on my desk. I'll stop now.
So it looks like young Perry seems to be having to sleep things off a little bit.
I think he ate something dodgy.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave him to it for a little while. I'm sure if there's anything he needs, he'll
think it was
we
Dota.
can come to him.
Sorry.
Azra sort of gives a really outplayed laugh and then sort of looks her in the eye and goes, "Nope."
Sorry.
The sort of. Uh-oh.
I am trying to find my freaking artwork and stuff. Not artwork, weapons and stuff.
I need to remember how I imagined his armor now.
There's this one. Yeah. Okay. Alright, cool. Sorry, I've got what I needed. So, I guess I'd probably be a good idea if I explained to you a little bit about the Silver Talons. That might be possibly something that could help you. How's that a little bit? Give you an idea of what of where we come from, who we're about. Okay.
Hazra moves over to the wall over here and like squats down and.
So the history of the Silver Talon Adventuring Guild, in fact, where they got the name from as well. It's it's quite a long time ago, before my time, before I was alive. What would it be, about like maybe 200 years?
Long,
Two-
long
200
time ago.
It's almost 250 years ago.
Oh.
And been situated here on the Sword Coast, and the current head of the guild. I say the current head of the guild, and that he's a founding member. He's always been on the he is the council master of the Silver Talons. But there is a procedure in place for replacing people that are on the council if they should decide to retire or should they fall. But his name is Ezekiel, and he's old even by dwarf standards. I mean, he's knocking on for 500 years old now, and he comes from Citadel Adbar, way up in the north. But him and his adventuring crew, they were just travelling up and down the coast, helping people where they could. The various people they worked with, and you've probably met one of his closest companions, which would have been Ilaron. The big, tall elf guy. No, actually, Marcus Azra, you two wouldn't have met him, but Anakis, Perry, Dotan, you two, you three would have met him before. He's the one. He's on the council as well. He's young for an elf. He's only like 350, something like that. But he's been with Ezekiel for as long as the Silver Talons has existed and longer. He helped found them. He's in the Silver Council as well, and he is the voice that are for all manners magical. So he's the one who takes care of the training of magical people that are within the guild. He is like the one who has like the final say on it. So for example, if you want to try and learn a few more spells, Anakis, he'd be someone who may not necessarily have a direct conversation with you, but he'd be someone who can make certain resources available to you once you start proving yourself within the guild. So he's also the one who is given the training needed to the mages to be able to create and maintain the training dungeons. The dungeon experience bit that you three went on last time. He's the one who developed all that. He's the one who worked out the magic that's needed for it, how to manipulate it, how to control it, and trained others in that as well. But yeah, so. Many, many moons ago, before the Silver Talons was the Silver Talons, there was a creature called a Gargana, which is... do you guys know what a rock is?
Yeah. Big ass bird.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so...
I was going to say a hard object, but sure.
That's rock
this
with a
one.
C.
Yeah.
R-O-C.
Yeah, so a rock is...
Now, they say their feathers have some form of magical properties. I've been trying to find them, but they're really hard to get hold of.
Not rock feathers that I know of, but possibly. But no, a Gargana is sort of like it's a large rock-like creature that has been infused with a ridiculous amount of magical energy, and it caused it to take on the properties of minerals from any rocky islands where they call their home. So if you have a particularly like a rocky outcropping somewhere, and a rock makes its nest there, and the winds of magic blow particularly strong, or that there is a particular backblast of magic or something, then it can cause a Gargana to come into being. Here's the only things I only know this stuff because I've spent a little bit of time in the College of Knowledge in Neverwinter. Seriously, no, Bard at College of Knowledge. I would have thought you'd know
that
about
was
it.
me laughing at that, not him, by the way.
Yeah, but no, seriously, it is. It's called the College of Knowledge. So, yeah.
I love it. Cool.
So the they're kind of dragony in that regard as well, because once they start being made of metal, they then start to covet it as well. And so what they'll do is they'll attack ships to try and get any metal and jewels that are hoarded that they're carrying, and then they like makes a hoard, kind of like a dragon would. So Ezekiel took payment for that job, as well as some golden feathers that had landed on the deck of from this particular Gargana. He used that money to purchase this plot of land where we are now, out on before it was the Guildhall was built. So here on the southern edge of the Southern Sword Mountains, and he spent a load of the money that he'd been making over the years to make this wonderful like dwarf style holding for our fledgling guild. And he then started, what he wants to do is he wanted to go from just being like this group of 3 or 4 people that had like worked with 1 or 2 extra people here, there, bopping in and out, and then never really knowing if you were going to be able to catch up with that person again and spend and even help any more people with that person again. He wanted to make it so that there was somewhere, more than anything else, at the time, somewhere safe for adventurers to rest. Because one of the things that does happen to adventurers is they do get jumped. They get jumped. They can be having a nice little night in a tavern somewhere on the road, and someone realizes that they're an adventurer. Bet they've got some nice gear. Bet they've got themselves a little bit of coin on them from some job they get paid for. I'll wait till they're asleep. I'll slit their throat. And adventurers have died like that. Adventurers have died that way. It's horrible. We don't like to talk about it. Don't like to think about it. But it is true. So that's where the Guildhall start coming into place. A lot of adventurers start having very similar ideas. It's where part of why the League of Adventurers that's based out of Neverwinter exists, is because it's a way of having the adventurers registered so that they know who's around and they can keep track of people who are alive, people who are dead. People who haven't been seen for a long time, they can then start trying to the mages can then try and scry that person. You can find a mage that knows that adventurer and see if they can locate them magically and find out what their fate is and keep the records up to date so that they can keep more track of what's going on. But the downside of that is that you've got a lot of different people. So instead, we all look after each other. Smaller groups, little cells of us, they all look after each other, and that's what we do. We look after our own. But we try and get more people in because we start getting a bit of a name for ourselves, and we're thinking like, you know what? We can go one step further than this. We can help people out more. We can train up adventurers. Give people a bit of, the people who want to be an adventurer, people who want to go out there and help people, let them actually have a chance to learn some stuff so they don't just die on their first little altercation with a bunch of, I don't know, goblins or something.
Well, I mean,
so we're here to help people and to help adventurers at the same time.
Which is partly the reason why I left the forest, because living in the forest as a half-elf, it's a difficult thing, because obviously they're all, for one thing, everyone's about 3 foot taller than me, which is never nice. But it was, my father was the human of the group, so they didn't like me very much, so I left, in order to find somewhere to be where I didn't feel so out of place. And so far, this place it's done that. It's given me my...
Well, I've updated all the paperwork and stuff, so we've got a record of the fact that you are an applicant of the guild. The fact that you were just as an applicant to begin with, it makes it a lot easier. If the guys had already become a certified licensed guild members, this would be a little bit more tricky. But as it stands, this is we're fine as we are now.
Cool.
okay, well, I mean, that answers my question. I was just wondering, before I kind of got into the thick of all of this, exactly what I was hired for, or at least recruited for. But nope, I'm
to help
definitely...
people. You've been hired to help people.
Well, I guess that's exactly what I wanted to do.
So a lot of people who join the guild have got their own reasons for doing so. You've got some people who are in it for fame and glory. Some people are in it because they want to help themselves. Some people are in it because they just want to get a paycheck. Some people are in it because they want some job security. Actually, that's a good point. Well, why don't you guys tell me why have you joined up? Why did you, Dotan, sitting over there at the back? Why did you want to join the guild?
I joined up. I just kind of I heard about them and something just went click in my head, and it seemed like a really good idea at the time. I couldn't give you an exact reason. It just seemed to make sense to me. Kind of like almost kind of like coming home, which is weird because I've never really had a home. But well, just
That's right.
I felt drawn to you.
Where were you? Where were you before you were here? Then, if you don't mind me asking.
I kind of do. I made a living making other people not alive anymore.
So you made a living from stopping people from living.
Yeah.
Assassin.
Yeah.
No.
No.
May I ask
That?
if
Oi!
people that-
Being an assassin is a noble vocation. All right.
One of the most
Anyone-
dangerous professions out there.
Anybody out there can be a murderer. It takes some class to be an assassin.
May I
Well, what's
ask
the difference?
though
What's
if
the
your
profession?
victims
The other's mental
were
illness.
Something like that.
innocent the majority of the time, in terms of
Um,
were their consciences?
I'm going to be talking. I'm going to guess it was like corrupt lords and doing bad stuff.
Well, no, not so much. Kind of the opposite of that. Let's put it this way. Let's say, for example, you had a business associate, and it would be better if they were not there anymore. There would be a kidnapping, and they would wake up in a rather extensive labyrinth, and I would be in there with them. And them and probably a few of their friends, maybe a couple of their bodyguards, would all kind of be, wandering around, and they'd start disappearing one by one. And their business associate, who had paid good money, would get to watch the whole thing.
See, now Azra's getting really excited because to him this sounds like so much fun.
Well, that was not so much.
Except without the killing bit, like the running around the labyrinth kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, running around the labyrinth and murdering people, it filled a hole inside me for a long time, and then I just stopped enjoying it, and I'm not quite sure why. I kind of just repulsed myself quite a bit, and I kind of had it's not really so much of a change of heart as a change of mind. I'm not sure. I just stopped enjoying it.
I'm gonna sort of wander over to where. Wait, this is Dotan speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm gonna put my hand on her shoulder and say, "It's okay. We're here for you now." Just go sit on my bed.
Hang on. I just need to quickly roll a dice to see whether or not she, purely out of reaction, grabs your thumb and twists your arm.
Break it off.
At
Round,
which point,
yeah.
can I use my sleight of hand to try and grab her dagger?
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
like, "Look, we're both as good as this."
See, you're not as good as her at that.
No,
so
but you never
you
know.
can try it. You can try
I'm
it.
gonna try it at least. Just
Let's
try.
have. I think a sleight of hand from both of you. I think would be the best thing for it.
Okay. So what do we need
Waiting for my
for-
character. There we go.
A sleight of hand is just a skill.
No, I mean what do we need to pass it?
You've clicked passive sleight of hand by mistake there. I will decide whether or not you pass it.
Okay.
So yes, I think he's. You managed to
I've
get.
got my character.
Yeah, you managed to get hold of her dagger. with
And
a
then I
19.
flip it over and just
There
sort
you
of
go.
hand it back.
I didn't.
To her.
It wasn't a dagger. I
Yeah.
just went to grab his
No,
thumb.
so yeah, but these I was gonna say is you do get grabbed, but as you get grabbed, you do manage to slip her dagger from its sheath as well.
Yeah, and at which point I sort of flick it back over by the blade and hand it back to her, and it's like, it's okay. We've all done things we don't agree with. Just hand it back and go back to my sort of where I was. I like to think that somewhere my sort of level of the sort of liked by Dotan has gone up just by like half a percentage because of that sort of show of just. He's not just an idiot.
Well,
He is just an idiot, but that's irrelevant.
so
Considering the bonus
for
I've got on sleight of hand, yes.
yeah, for his that's worse. It's interesting. Obviously now you don't go killing people unless there's a reason to kill them. We're not murderers. But yeah, it's good to know. Good to know you. What about you, Anakis? What brought you to the guild? What made you want to sign up and grab the silver?
Well, I've been isolated for so long, I just decided that some company would be nice for a change. So I figured I could come sign up while also enhancing my own magical talents, shall we say?
So you want to learn a bit more about magic and stuff because you're a sorcerer, aren't you? You didn't learn your magic. You were born with it, weren't you?
Exactly. I just want to enhance it.
And I learned a bit of control and stuff. Yeah, so that makes sense. That makes sense. Seems like a good idea. I'll say, and also then to our two new companions, Marcus. What do you want to join? You know, obviously, you know, wanting to join the guild, Sheeta kind of press ganged you into it. But you know, what sort of thing? What sort of thing? Why did you say yes? Why did you decide that why have you now decided that you, having heard a bit more about the guild, you want to stay with us as well? What sort of things do you like?
I said yes because it seemed to bring a smile to Sheila's face. I spent most of my life just traveling around trying to heal the broken hearts, and the world has a lot of good in it, and I think everyone has the capacity to be good, but some people are lost, and I want to guide them the right way. But I'm also searching for someone right now, so it's a bit of both. I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it because I believe others deserve the same.
That's fair. So that's what I should say as well. Is a lot of the time, information on things like missing people and that sort of stuff tends to make its way to the guilds a lot more quickly than it'll make its way out to other people as well. Because people who go missing, people sometimes want they'll offer a reward for that person to be found, or things like people go missing and they'll people get kidnapped and they're held to ransom. So the guilds, the adventurers get involved in that sort of stuff because they can be trusted to to actually go out there and get the job done. So that's another reason why people do join the guild, is because they're looking for someone or something. So what about you then, Azra?
Well, it's kind of a sort of odd story, because as I say, being a half-elf in a whole-elf village is not really a good thing. Being one of the younger ones at the ripe old age of 86, I'm guessing this is the world where the elves live forever kind of thing.
Elves do have a tendency to live for being reliably lived to be between 300 and 800.
Right, yeah. So being one of the younger ones,
unless something happens to them, but it wouldn't be unheard of for an elf to reach north of 1,000.
Yeah, so being one of the younger ones at only sort of 87, ostracized for being half human, and not being able to pick up a lot of the elven skills, I just want somewhere to belong where I'm not sort of instantly driven out because of what I am. That, and I wanted to find my father. Because
Was he not at the village?
No, he was the human.
Well, I mean, if you're 86 now, not funny.
Yeah,
He's
probably thinking about that. Yeah.
He's probably, you know, unless he's got some sort of like something that stops him from
Or at least find
succumbing
out what
to.
happened to him then.
Or maybe learn more about him.
Well, hopefully, he just passed away peacefully in his sleep.
Yeah, because my mother was the chief's sort of daughter, so the chief was my grandfather, and he didn't like that.
She was only the chief's daughter, but yeah, well, that's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I eventually, like I said, I left. I put my loot on my back, my pack on my back, had some leafy roughage, and I went out to find the guild, which I heard stories of from passing travellers and traders through the forest. I just thought to myself, maybe there I can find a place to be.
That's fair.
And
Well,
helping people as well. And I know I make myself a nuisance most of the time, and I don't mean to. So I am trying to change that. So good luck to us all, guys.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, none of you are going to end up on the wrong side of something's teeth. But you know, if it does happen, we'll do our best to make sure that everyone gets a proper remembrance. Obviously, if there are, you know, if you have got people that you're looking for, stuff, make it known to some of the higher ups. You know, should you survive and become fully fledged members, once you make it in that way, you know, make sure if you have got people that are missing or things that you're looking for, make it known, because if the information is available in the annals of the guild, we have reunited families. You know, we've found lost heirlooms and stuff. There are things that the guild's done already. 250 years is a long time. We've done a lot.
I'll keep that in mind. If I get if you have the time, do you mind if we go talk in private?
Yeah, we can. Sure, we can have the little chat later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just about a few things in regards to my role here in the guild as well.
Fair enough. Well, we can go and have a chat in a little while. Did you want to just have a chat with me privately off of stream, or is it something you
Oh
want
no,
to do
it's
on
not.
stream?
It's
for you to do?
not. No, it's
You
not.
want- you don't want to
doing
do it on
in-
stream?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
Maybe.
cool.
It's just more in character wise. He doesn't want the others to hear it, but
Yeah, it's a
everything
role
else
play
is fine.
thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, so yeah, I mean, if you know, if you guys actually need anything else at the moment, or are you guys happy to like just keep yourselves busy and talk amongst yourselves or whatever? Because we can go and have a chat now if you need to.
So, if possible, I'd like to get a bow made. Who would I speak to about that?
Oh yeah, mate, pop down to the armory, and there should be 1 or 2 short bows down there that you can take out.
Nice. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for the information.
Yeah. So, come on in, Marcus. Let's go have a little chat then.
Yeah. He follows suit. Wish I need to turn around now.
So, what do you need?
Well, this dungeon ahead, I'm going to assume there's combat.
Yes, the whole point of the dungeons is that they test your abilities in as many ways as possible. They test your strength, your dexterity, your adaptability, your intelligence.
Yeah. Okay. As I said before, all I've ever really done is roam around and heal people. My role is to alleviate sicknesses, cure wounds, help the sick. I carry this spear for self-protection, but it just seems like recently I've been a hindrance to our party, and only a hindrance. I don't need to heal them, but when it comes to fighting, they need to heal me. I've not felt this feeling before, and I was wondering if there's someone here who would be able to teach me.
I mean, I've trained in some level of martial art and stuff, so I can probably show you a few things. Just take your spear for a second there. And he takes his spear and he checks the weight of it and the balance and stuff. Well, your main issue you're going to have is this thing is basically this is just a branch of wood that you've taken the knots and bolts off of. That's the issue. That's one of your biggest issues. Is if your weapon's got no balance, then you can't expect yourself to actually do anything with it. I mean, if you want to, you're scheduled to go into the dungeon next week. So next weekend. Your schedule. That's where your slot is on the Saturday coming up. So if you want, between now and then, you can spend some time training with me, and we can see if we can start getting you a little bit of learning along the route of martial arts and that sort of stuff. I mean, I won't be able to teach you everything. Certainly won't be able to give you any actual proper level of skill or anything for it. And I imagine that your greatest respect, probably going to be quite shit for a while. Until you get the opportunity to put some more actual direct training into it, but yeah, we can start teaching you in some of the monkly ways. So there's no monastery here, but there's a few of us that have trained in a few things.
Yes, I just want to be able to actually defend myself and help others. Really, I mean, understandably, I probably have never learned how to fight, so I've never needed to. But now that it's coming up a lot more frequently, I just don't want to worry them.
Yeah. Well, so what you want to do, right, is do you still want to use do you actually still want to use a spear, or are you looking for more like a sort of, you definitely want to use a spear. You definitely want a bladed weapon.
Yeah, yes, spear, definitely. I mean, the reason I like spears is that a lot of it is blunt, and when the end is deadly. So if I need to, I can just hit them with the blunt part. If I want to be deadly, I stab them with the stabby part.
Okay, right. Those things I need to make sure that I give you the right name. Oh, pissing thing. make sure I get the right thing. I think. It is. You are looking for a spear, not like a pike or anything, aren't you?
Halberd.
Let's have a look. I mean, pikes, depending on what kind of pike you mean.
But you're not looking for something like 12 feet long, are you? You're looking for something
No.
that is like a
yeah.
spear something.
Spear, yeah, it's the short version kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to. It's basically a cross between a. Also like a top between. Cause I was thinking Naginata, but that's a big polearm type spear thing. To be fair, actually, you probably could get away with saying a Naginata.
Let's have a look at the types of polearm.
I think a halberd would fit a druid quite well.
Oh, they're too clunky for.
They are
markers.
the halberds are considered to be a heavy weapon, so they have to be
Really?
two-handed. Yeah,
It's a polearm.
yeah. It's also 18 feet long.
What the fuck? Fair
Yeah,
enough.
so he uses one hand for a shield, so
Well,
it
12
needs to be a
12
weapon that's one-handed.
It
which
is
is why it
like
says
that
spear.
can be used as one-handed thing. So, right. What you want to do then? If you're definitely looking for a bladed weapon, right? Take this I'm loath to call it a spear, but take your spear with you. Take it down to the armory. Go with Azra, and he goes to get his bow. And what you want to do is you want to hand this into them and ask them instead for a Yari, which is a type of spear. If you tell them, Fulric said you need a Yari, they'll know what you're after. But I would say have a look as well at the bow, which is just a staff instead of being a spear. You'll be able to use everything the same way you normally would do, except it hasn't got a blade on the end of it. But trust me, it's just as deadly, and it does give you a lot of ability to like move enemies around and stuff, and be a bit more dexterous with it. It will take you quite a while to become proficient with those weapons. But at the very least, because of the way they're built, the fact they're a lot lighter and stuff, you've got a lot more flexibility with it, and you'd be a lot more able to move. You'll be a lot more mobile with it because you're not going to have to be slinging around this big, heavy, great lump of wood. You'll be actually having a proper weapon for your build.
Okay, I'll take that in mind. Yari or bow. Okay, thank you.
It's bow, which is just BO, not bow as in not like a bow like Azra's going
A
for.
bow
Yeah,
staff.
I know.
Yeah.
I am like addicted to Sun Wukong, so I know that one. But yes, thank you. I'll definitely take it in mind, and I would love to proceed with training as soon as possible.
Yeah, so what we'll do is so tomorrow morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, it'll be when I'll be awake to go to start the stuff for it. But as long as you meet me out in the courtyard, it's sometime between 4 and 5. We can start your training on it. It's when all those of us who are trained in the martial arts ways. It's when we get our training done and out of the way because it's a little bit quieter. So we haven't got to worry as much about the clash and clang of weapons and blades from everyone being dickheads.
So I've got this really funny image of just like a bunch of like martial artists, and then let's get down to business. Sorry, carry on. It's just what I can see in my brain.
Yeah, so is there anything else you needed, Markston?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Alright, cool. Let's go and have a.
And see where we can go from there.
Yeah, I said he hands your spear back at that point as well. So it's like, if at the very least, see if you can get them to like lighten this thing or something like that. It's horrible.
Okay, thank you. I did yank it off a tree and turn it into a spit.
So one of those things that most druids do have like a walking stick type thing.
Yeah, I when it came to this character, so he usually heals, but he has a spear to fight off monsters. Is literally the only reason he has it.
I think a sort of a bow staff would be more your character's style because it's dangerous.
To be
And
fair though,
unless
it
you
is
keep it wet,
difficult.
deadly.
It is difficult to use a bow staff with a shield though. So to be fair.
This
Yeah.
is.
Well, I mean, there's quarterstaffs
You
which
could
are.
use it as a pokey stick rather than an actual bow staff with
Will
all
the
the
bow
flicking
come
around
under
the
the
nails.
quarterstaff, technically?
Yeah, so a bow will be a quarterstaff,
Even though
if
it's
I'm
a-
right,
and a yari will be a spear.
Yeah. Quarterstaff makes more sense just because you can still do the versatile hold, but I think you can use dex with it. No, you can't. No matter what I do, I need strength for both of them.
Nope. See, that's the whole point of these other weapons and stuff is that they are monk versions of
Okay.
regular weapons that basically
Okay.
mean that this is one of the things. If you actually read one of the things for it, bear with me a second. When you look into monk, because there's a bit that it says about when it comes to monk, which is also in monk weapons.
Yeah.
Because this is what we're going to be doing. Is this is basically a reason for you to be able to use monk weapons before getting a level in monk, so long as you do take your next level in monk.
Yes.
So this is what me and you were having a chat before about
Oh yeah.
off stream, that agreement that we can go around doing this, but we need to make sure we are doing it the right way. Trying to find where it says about monk weapons now. So I remember reading it, and basically what it says is that you just essentially have a chat with your GM, your DM, if you want to use a monk weapon.
I'm just imagining that like, Azra's just standing on his hands right now, just out of sort of sheer idleness.
Oh, here we go. So, yeah. Certain monasteries use specialized forms of the monk weapons. For example, you might use a club that is 2 lengths of wood connected by a short chain, called nunchaku, or a sickle with a shorter, straighter blade, called kama. Whatever name you use for a monk weapon, you can use the game statistics provided for the weapon in Chapter 5. So, yeah, monk. This is what monk weapons work. So, your practice of martial arts gives you mastery of combat styles that use unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are short swords and any simple melee weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, so you gain the following benefits while you are unarmed or wielding any monk weapons that aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. So you won't be able to use a shield to and still gain the benefits of these things. But what we'll do is we'll make it so that during this time of this element of downtime, where each morning you're going to be training with Fulric and the other monks, is the end result of that is going to be that between now and when you reach level 5, you will be able to use a monk weapon in terms of like using it as a finesse weapon, but you won't be proficient in it. So you get to add your dexterity instead of strength, but you don't get the proficiency bonus when it comes to attacking. So if you do, you'll be less likely to hit. If you do hit, you're more likely to actually do some damage.
Yeah.
You can still use a shield, but because you're not a monk, you won't be getting the whole unarmed defense thing for it anyway. So you'll at the moment you will still be able to use a shield. Once you do become a monk, well, you can still technically use a shield if you want to, but you'll start actually suffering from using a shield.
That's fine. Brilliant.
And you don't get the whole martial arts thing of rolling a d4 instead of doing a single point of damage when it comes to unarmed strikes.
Okay. Probably won't use a shield at that point. Rely on everything else.
Yeah, so you can make it so you basically your dexterity is your governing stat for damage, but you are not going to be able to use proficiency. So what I'll do is I'll just open up your character sheet, go through what I need. So, are you on your character sheet in a minute?
Yeah, I am.
Alright.
I just have it open in the window, wasn't it? So just trying to
I'm gonna take control of your character sheet for a second. So whatever you're doing, make sure it's you've finished.
Oh, it was only opening so I could look at my picture.
Okay.
And then I think I should open that up. So I always have it open.
Are you gonna go with the spear or staff, by the way?
Probably Yari, so the spear.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just change what you've got at the minute for your spear.
My pencil just ran out of lead. Where's my lead gone?
I mostly waved, Paul. So you got there, say finesse. That you are not proficient in.
So I'm guessing, do those chests at the end of the bed?
Yep.
Are they like our lockers to put things in?
Yeah. They
Yeah,
are.
so
That is that is your like. So long as you don't take the piss, that is your limitless storage for your characters.
Do you think I could fit my buck? Well, in my mind, it was like a small buckler shield. Do you think you'll fit that in there?
Yeah, you'd be able to fit that in there.
Yeah, because he'll store that away and focus on.
So you're going to stop using your shield from now?
Yeah.
So I have a question in regards to what's going on with him becoming a monk. Would it like be possible for him to like wear, say, like a reinforced gauntlet as a buckler type thing instead, and use that within the martial arts?
Kind of not, because
No,
statistically that wouldn't work.
It's the nature of how it works. If it's because it would still technically be classed as a shield, and so you limit what you can actually do.
Okay, fair enough.
So we'll take that.
No, it's just a question because if I think monk, I think sort of big, heavy gauntlet punching things kind of monk.
Well, there is also there is a some magical items that do exist in the game. There is within the game there is already preset. There is a magic item that exists which is called Braces of Defense. I think it's Braces of Defense.
Wonder Woman.
Basically, they are incredibly similar to that, and you know how a lot of time, like you'll hear about some magical item, and it's very clearly it is for one type of character or another. So, for example, Holy Avenger, very specifically, has to be attuned by a paladin. You know, it's that's a weapon that's very very clear for that. You got most sword weapons you'd think would be being absolutely ideal for actual like fighter type characters. The various rods and staves you get are generally aimed at mages. Well, there is, I think it's called Braces of Defense. Find it now. Because these are things that they are common enough items that you'd have heard of them. So I don't mind telling you a bit about it now. Braces of Defense. So, whilst wearing these braces, you gain a +2 bonus to your armor class if you are wearing no armor and using no shield. And there are some classes that do that specifically and will benefit from it more. So, technically, any wizard will benefit from that because they don't wear armor. But also, wizards don't tend to be getting themselves in situations where they're getting attacked, so they don't necessarily need a high AC. But monks and berserk, monks and barbarians, they're both designed around not actually wearing armor and just using like their sheer dexterity, acrobatics, or even just willpower to shrug off blows or avoid them.
No, I only asked because when I was doing like my martial arts stuff, we used to have to fight like empty-handed against my teacher with a weapon. So it was like, okay, how the fuck do we deal with this? And he brought out these like sort of elbow length like reinforced glove type things. And we used to sort of defend and fight with those instead.
Yeah.
They didn't help too much. They still bruised my fucking arm, but that.
Yeah, I mean, there are things that are gonna exist like that, and there are depending on which monastery you go for as well. So if you if your archetype of monk is the Way of the Open Palm, then you're more likely to have access to those sorts of things because the Way of the Open Palm is a lot of it is about using the chi powers that you get. Or key powers that you get to enhance what your physical blows can do and to put like elemental damage into them or enhance those ways. Then you've got there's the Way of the Sunlit Soul, something like that. There's a few monastic things. Yes, there's a few monastic styles that focus on different things. Some that do focus more on weapon use, and focus on no weapon use. Yeah. There's the Way of Shadows, which is kind of like ninjutsu and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, teleporting and shadows.
Shinobis. Yeah, it's the monastic tradition Way of Shadows is absolutely bullshit. If anyone who wants to go down that route will have to do an awful lot of conversation with me regarding which of their abilities they can and can't actually use.
Really, I didn't realise that was so bull.
See,
okay, so they have the ability to step out of a shadow, literally to teleport to an area that has shadow in it, which means that they can literally step out of the shadow of their target and then just gank them. So yeah, we're going to have a conversation about how you would use those abilities and whether or not you're going to have them at all. Because it's a little bit
Once per
broken.
rest, motherfucker.
After the ones that we've talked about.
Yeah,
I think
once
they're
per
the ones
campaign,
we
bitch. And not the boss fight.
Oh, what? There's a boss? Lol, Shadow dead.
I teleported
Also,
the shadow in his heart.
For the record as well, this Yari spear will not be able to be thrown. You can't. Well, it can be thrown, but it's not designed to be thrown. It is,
Yeah,
it
but
is a
not by you,
combat
'cause you ain't
spear.
got the strength.
Yeah, no, it is. It's not a combat spear in that regard. It's
Sort of goes to throw it, just hits
yeah,
himself in
taking
the
away
foot
the
with it, like,
throwing.
ah!
Yeah,
Great
it's like
on
a range one.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Brilliant.
there you go. Now you've got your updated character panel there.
Yep.
I need to adjust that actually because that is now not doing a thing there. That needs to have one in there.
Right, what was this character dude standing in the middle of the place called again? My brain's just...
Fulric.
Oh, right.
F-A-L-R-I-C. Fulric.
Fulric, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Is there anybody that could sort of teach me any more bardic spells and things?
Well, I mean,
Or at least a library I can go swan about.
we've got a limited library available, and if you're actually looking to learn some spells, we don't really have anything like that. Your best bet would have been to spend some time at one of the colleges, with the mages or the bards in the city.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. Oh well, never mind.
I mean, we've got a week until you're going to go into so it's just that the amount of downtime that you spent in the city with part of our stuff, getting you there and everything for it. That was on us and paying your room and board. If you want to go, if you want to head down to the city, it'll take you about 5-6 hours to get there if you're hoofing it. So if you want to go and spend some more time in the city, feel free to. Just you need to pay your own way.
Yeah, which I can't do because I have some total of 8 gold.
You'd be surprised what you can get with the gold. I mean, that's what, 10 silvers? So that'll get you what, 2-3 nights, depending on how fancy you feel like being.
Look, I've woken up in garageways and alleys. I can sleep anywhere. I lived in a tree for like 87 years. Come on.
Yeah, so yeah, if you want to go and spend some more time in the city to spend some time at college and learning, if you want to spend, you do that. Yeah, feel free.
I think I might end up doing that because my spells, they're all right, but they're not exactly very useful for like what I can do, if that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
might go back into town with you actually,
Yep.
because I had a thought. I had a thought about something that I might be able to make.
I'm gonna-
I'll probably go back into town with you. I mean, they have
Like-
alcohol there, so I can at least stop by and grab a drink.
As a little bit of like internal monologue, as was thinking, do I really want to go back into town with an assassin?
Let's go into town. Let's talk to the armory guy first, and then let's head back to town.
So you guys want to spend your week going back to town and doing some.
I'll always spend the
relatively
week. I'll
quick
probably go there
things?
for the first day, then come back and train until
Yeah.
the day.
I won't need to. But I'll probably just like go
You go for
there,
a
find
quick
out how
journey.
long I need to wait, and then like come back when I need to go back there, and then just spend the rest of the time doing some other stuff, which I
Yeah.
will also need to talk to you about.
I need to find out what a Yari looks like properly.
It just looks like a spear.
Brilliant, because I'm drawing my character. I'm nearly done. Let's go do the legs and the spear then. Oh, but the thing I'm trying to get around with, though, so I need to put this. I don't use metal. Because I'm a druid.
Well, I mean,
Druids don't like metal. So I'm going to have to, like, talk to them
A
about
pointy
ultimate-
stick, still a stick, still a spear.
Yeah, so I'll see if there's anything I can temper the metal with instead, like obsidian or some sort of...
I mean, having an obsidian blade would be kind of handy, I suppose. But it's nothing that we're going to have access to. I mean, you can if you're going to be planning on heading into the city, or if your mate's planning on heading into the city, you can always see if he's able to have a chat with one of the armourers there to do something a little bit special. See if we can actually have a piece put together like that.
Yes, I haven't pissed off the armorers yet.
Okay,
Right.
I'll
He
put
weren't,
the
he
armor
weren't
in
there
the
yet.
It's not like I do it on purpose.
Just going to make some notes on what you guys want to be spending this week of much less focused downtime, as in not going to be, that's doing each day separately sort of thing for it. So, what does Azure want to be spending his week doing?
Seeing if you can't pick up a new trick or two to do with sort of a more combat ability, like what we were talking about earlier, the air pressure burst thing. Is like a bardic kind of firebolt type thing. If that makes sense.
Try and learn some combat spells in the city, yeah?
Yeah, something a bit less like that's reliant on whether the creature is smart enough to go, fuck off. Sort of thing. Some that will just sort of go, boom.
Okie dokie.
And
Anything
probably
else?
going to try and make a little bit of extra gold while I'm out there as well. Just wondering about selling stories and stuff of my 86 years of experience.
You'll do some busking as well, basically.
Aye.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think there is anything else as such. I'll probably stop by the academic bar and talk to my bard mate while I'm out there, see if he has any tricks he can sort of throw my way.
Okey-dokey.
As well.
Put on learning combat spells.
Go to
Right,
some pubs by the docks and see if you can pick up any new songs.
Yeah. What do we do with a drunken Gargan? What do we do with a
What
drunken?
does Marcus want to be spending his time doing then? So part of it is going to be training in is monk training.
Yeah.
Not that much.
It's monk training and yes, just organising this weapon situation, trying to kit himself out a little bit so that when he does fight, he won't be a liability anymore. That's his main concern. Is fixing his combat initiative, I guess. As well as
Monk training.
wanna
if
stay-
he get the
stay
access
here.
to it, he wants to go to the magic people to see if he can get any information about his friend.
We say his friend.
As in the thing we discussed about how I can only really see them, I can't really interact with them. That
Oh
friend.
right, okay. Well, we'll have a chat about that off stream, just because we want to make sure we know exactly what we're going for before
Yeah.
we start revealing any direct information on that. But I don't
Yeah.
want to make any mistakes in that regard.
If you want a head made for that spear that's not metal, but you want to hang around here, we can probably pick something up for you in town if you maybe draw something.
Yep.
I know. I'll come to town. Like I said,
Okay.
if I'm going to be training for a while, I want to get a couple of drinks in first before I go, and dedicate myself to the inability to drink for a bit.
Sort of when Azra gets back, he's just going to spend his time getting a little bit more, refreshing himself with the art of a bow, because obviously being an elf, he sort of knows how to use a bow, but
Yeah.
kind of did.
Please, I think you've got proficiency in the weapon, so it's sort of the thing where it's like you.
It's more of a refreshing.
You never,
thing
yeah,
back
you
into the
don't
swing
really
of it.
forget it. So you won't need to train with the weapon the same way that Marx is needing to train with them.
It's more sort of
Because
making
it's
sure
not
he can
actually a
hit
new
bloody
weapon
target.
in that regard. It's just like a remembering how it's done. Like
Yeah.
the older, you never
Muscle
forget how to ride a
memory.
bike, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What about Ernakis? What's Ernakis got planned?
Possibly going back to the College of Knowledge and figuring out, I'll try to research ways to increase, like, magic potency, shall we say? Like, increase ways to make my spells more effective in combat.
Okay, so you're trying to find ways to make your spells more effective.
Mhm.
Right. So I'll tell you now on this thing straight away, just because of the nature of how spells work and leveling up and that sort of stuff, that you won't find a way to make it happen, but you may I may be able to then give you some more insights in terms of like things to look out for, opportunities for learning and that sort of stuff, that where you will have the ability to learn certain things for it. Because of the way that you have your spells and your magic, being a sorcerer, it's not as simple as going and learning a new thing. It's more to do with how you're mastering your own ability. So
I'll look into that as well.
It is possible that it'll happen, but it's not going to be a case like, oh, you're going to go to the city, learn a thing, you're going to come back with a better stat. It's going to be, you can go to the city, learn some stuff, and then it'll basically give you guidance on how to build your character in that regard.
And that's basically what I'm looking for. That's what I meant, basically. So.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we're all singing from the same sheet in that regard.
So in this world, then, wizards are learned, sorcerers are naturals,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah. So,
It's like
wizards.
anybody can
educate
be a wizard,
themselves.
but not anybody can be a sorcerer.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't, if say for example, right, so A good example to use for saying how this sort of thing works is the multi-classing system that is within the game.
Yeah.
If you are already a thing, like a fighter, for example, or a paladin, or a cleric, or whatever it is, you may find that when you next level up, you think, like, actually, you know, I'd quite like to level into being a sorcerer. Okay, well, why are you going to level into being a sorcerer? What's the reason behind it? You think about where does the sorcerer's power come from? Because sorcerers... Volk, I recognise that name. I can't think why I recognise the name.
What?
The person who's just followed the group, just followed the channel. I do recognise, and I can't think why. Are you from what was once 496?
It's Tina.
It is Tina.
It is Tina from 496. Yes.
It is Tina. Yeah, see, I do recognise names. I remember people. How you doing, my darling? Welcome to the channel.
Like, Azra would be able to spec into being a wizard in order to learn different types of spells.
Yeah, so that's why the common thing about
that.
it is speccing into wizard. That is because a wizard's governing stat is intelligence. It is about things that are specifically learned, as opposed to a cleric where their base ability is based around wisdom.
+3, so it's not bad.
Yeah, well, so you got 16 intelligence, which means the modifier is a +3 modifier. So for every 2 points above 10, you get another +1. So if you manage to get your intelligence up to 17, you'll still be a +3. If you get up to 18, you become the +4 modifier. And it's how does the stat then govern those extra things?
It's like the way I want to build him is like at the moment he's got his rapier and a dagger, but having that sort of higher range and then the spells in order to like keep at range sort of thing with his like natural sort of ability of being able to like hop through trees and stuff being like where his homeland is, being up and out of the way is kind of what he does. So it's more being able to attack things from relatively far away and only using the sort of blade if I need to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I'd say when you're building characters, things like the thing is, look at what their governing stat is, and it kind of gives you some sort of inkling as to why, as to what you would need as in the fluff to explain why that character is going to be learning that thing. One of the examples that they give is if you've got a party that has got a fighter and a rogue and a wizard, maybe the fighter has been spending a lot of time hanging around with the rogue, maybe where the rogue's been working with the Thieves Guild and he took the fighter with them to be acting like a bit of an enforcer. Then the fighter can pick up some of the rogue abilities and stuff with it that way, and like maybe that's the reason why when they next level up, they take their level into rogue, or they're spending a lot of time with the wizard and they've been picking up a few things here and there, which means that they take their next level as being a wizard. A good example of this is Gem, her character. She's started off as a fighter because she was a scrappy little character. Been spending a lot of time with a sort of like a madam of one of the the traveling brothel that's following around an army, and it happens, she wasn't a particularly flirtatious person, so she ended up learning a lot of charm-based magic and charm-based spells to get the same result. You know, because she's not very good at doing the whole flirting thing, ended up having to use magic to compensate for that. And so, down that regard, then she's been learning a lot of stuff that way, but also through then learning the magic stuff and being a wizard as well, then learning a bit more about how to use magic in certain other ways, and so that's why she's an Eldritch Knight fighter archetype.
So I want to start playing
with
the
fluff, you know, the fluff.
The prestidigitation a bit more as well, because I've had a few ideas for that. Like, sort of, obviously, you can create an object or something. Like, say, I could, I don't know, create like a thing that distracts stuff, and that sort of stuff. 'Cause it's quite a ambiguous sort of spell. It's very useful.
Yeah, so if you do want to do multi-class, like I said, I've got no problems with you guys doing multi-classing at all. It's just think about why your character's going to do
Yeah.
that. It's like, oh, I've got 3 levels into fighter. My next level is going to be going into. I'm going to be warlock. Why are you going to be a warlock? Cause
Yeah.
you know,
think that's why
I like there
it took me this long
being
to try and
I like
figure
there
out
being
how
like a
to
reason
actually
for it,
do
like
it.
make it so there's a reason. Mickey's got a really good reason for why Marcus wants to become a monk, and it fits lore wise and it fits character progression wise in terms of making the character so that the character is a bit easier to use and a bit more fun to use because it gives them some extra stuff they can do with it. And also there is a reason. There's the fluff. There is a fluff reason why it's happening.
Yeah, like with sort of Azra sort of being able to use magic anyway. He would like to be able to use different types of magic that he can then just sort of like
So
pick up a book on and
deciding to study it and spend a bit
Yeah.
more time studying it means that then when you do then next have the opportunity to level up, you've spent some time more specifically studying magic. Maybe you've actually you've got yourself an extra book or something to go with it. Don't forget
Yeah.
that wizards, very specifically, wizards actually have a spell book that they learn their stuff from.
like a grimoire.
Yeah, it's something that it will start off with. Either they've inherited a spellbook, or for you, if you're doing this, this will give you it gives you an idea of a way to start this off. If you want to start living into being a wizard, is you want to learn some more about spells. So you're going to be going into the city to try and specifically what I've written down here is learning combat spells in the city. So it's not specifically like I know that is more specifically what Shadow wants for Azra is to be able to go to the city and have an opportunity to learn some more combat-oriented spells so that he can do better in the field. So that's the reason why you, Shadow, are looking to make Azra more adaptable, more fun to play in the field. What is Azra's reason for it? Azra is wanting to learn a bit more about magic. So instead of being the specific thing of like, Azra doesn't want to learn combat spells. Azra wants to learn more about magic.
Yeah, just
So-
magic in general.
So he's going to go and he's probably going to procure for himself a notebook. So he's going to start making some notes around spells and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this thing's like, oh, this is the logic behind this sort of thing, and oh, they're doing this sort of thing, and so he's then starting to write his own
I
spell
like
book.
to think that like while he's quite light-hearted and a bit sort of pretentious, he is still pretty intelligent.
Yeah.
He's
Oh yeah, I
just
mean the
not very
character
good at-
they are an intelligent character. They have got a decent intelligence stat on this, so they are an intelligent character. But it's the way that Azra's not like starting as a wizard. So if someone starts as a wizard, either by finding it or having it left to them, whatever it is, they are starting with a spellbook. So the other way it can happen is maybe they find a spellbook. So if someone's multi-classing into being a wizard, where is their spellbook coming from? They haven't had this spellbook from the word go. Is it a book that they found many moons ago that they've kept with them this entire time, and they all of a sudden there is a reason why? Oh, actually, you know what? This book turns out is a spellbook, or is it in? Like I said, what makes sense to
something my
me?
father left
They
for
bumped
me,
into
Carl.
someone,
Yeah.
that person dropped their book and they stole it.
Yeah, what
I
makes
have
sense?
something
What makes sense to me for
else
Azra is that he starts off writing his notebook, and
Yeah.
basically that then becomes his spellbook.
Yeah. I think that's a very him thing to do because where he's always like writing lyrics down for songs and stuff, it's sort of natural for him to start writing stuff down
Yeah.
while he's thinking about it.
Well,
so if he
there's-
starts
if-
thinking about magic and stuff, he just
Does Azra already have like a songbook? Is that something
I
he would
like
already
to-
have?
I like to have it that his sort of songs and stuff are stored in the mark on the back of his hand,
Okay.
in like a sort of thing. That
Well,
makes
he would need. Say, in order to become a wizard, he would actually need a spellbook, and if that
Yeah,
spellbook
well-
ever becomes lost, he will no longer have access to his wizard spells.
yeah.
He will still have access to his wizard power, so he'll still be able to channel the energy, so he could use that energy to then cast his bardic spells,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't be able to cast his wizard spells.
Right, then is there a type of book that I can get hold of that I can sort of summon from nowhere and keep in sort of distorted space?
Yes, but you won't like it,
Okay, why?
because it goes down the route of being a warlock instead.
Oh, it's kind of not melodic.
That's Pact of the Tome.
Yes.
Fair enough. Right, then he's just going to carry around a book somewhere.
Yeah.
He keeps it in his loot. His loot.
I
has
mean,
like a
it doesn't
compartment.
specifically have to be a spell book, okay? Because you just need to have a record of your spells. So that's what I was going to say. I was asking does he already have a book of songs and stuff? Because it could basically that becomes a spell book. But I remember hearing of a fantastic build of a monk. wizard, and what they did was each of the spells they knew was etched onto a strip of iron, a strip of metal. That was then that iron band is then formed. It was then bent and secured magically around their wooden staff, their bow staff, which was their monk weapon. So all their spells were etched into their monk stuff.
I like to think that Azra would end up getting like tattoos and stuff as well. So like having them tattooed on him somewhere in like symbols
Well,
and
you've
symbology and
been-
stuff.
If you wanted
The
to go
thing is,
down
like,
that
how would you
route,
lose your spells if they're tattooed on you? Like, oh, my skin
Exactly.
vanish.
if you want to go down that route, then yeah, we can go down the route of each spell he knows is he has tattooed on his body.
Or it's like even if not tattooed, like magically etched into his sort of like the note on the back of his hand.
You could
That was a
scratch
magic
something into
thing.
the back of your loot.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
but
have it
I'm
on the
lucky
back
to
of the
break my loot at one point or another, so that's probably not a good plan.
Makes
Have
it
a
even
think.
better.
Have a think
Yeah,
about what,
I will have a
about
think about
have a
that.
think about what. But don't think of like what is a very Azra way to do it.
Yeah,
and
it's
also
like me.
yeah.
It's like as a sort of a Wiccan and someone who sort of goes through witchcraft and stuff. I have a book of shadows. It's a big ass thing where I write all my random shit down. But I don't think that's very him. He needs something. I don't know.
I mean, it could just be like an amalgamation of notes. It could have like a scroll case, which has just got each individual sheaf of paper stuffed into it, and each one of those bits of paper has got a spell or a song written on it.
I like the idea maybe like a songbook, but all of his spells he converts rather than being script and descriptions like that into song notes. So all it looks like is a symphony or like a songbook of plays.
That's a good idea, actually.
And
We're
then-
keeping it as musical notation.
Wizards
that's how he
do
registers
try.
everything.
Yeah, wizards
Yeah.
do try to protect their own spells. They do want to
think, yeah,
protect their
yeah,
own
yeah.
magic. So yeah, you could have it as a very in that regard a very true songbook.
Then I need to go around and get a rather large case for paper and stuff. Then
Yeah, so you can.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
those are
Say
sort of
that
things
out
that you
loud
can.
in character.
wait, what? Say what?
Say it out loud in character.
What?
Just suddenly you have a brain fart. Wait a minute, I need things to carry my notes in.
I need
And
a
then-
thing. I need a case, a backpack to carry notes.
I have a
and
spare
stuff.
one here, and gives you a scroll case.
Sweet. Thank you.
I have a
High
spare one.
five.
So
High five from halfway across the fucking room.
What does also on this regard? What does Dotan plan on spending her next week doing?
I wanted to mess around with my poisons a little bit, and I had an idea for sort of a sheath of poison that I could maybe dip a dagger or an arrow into, and just keep it. So I'd have to have poisons prepared, but at the start of a battle, I could stick it in there and stick a dagger in or an arrow or something like that.
So you want to make you've got the ability to prepare multiple poisons at one time.
Well, yeah, just have things because I can pre-prepare lots of poisons, different types, but it's a bit of a pain because you have to use it and then you can apply it and then you only get to use one. If you stab someone with a dagger that's got poison on it, you've got no more poison again, and you need to take a turn out and put more poison on and then go and stab someone else.
So I think what they're trying to say is like to have a custom or at least kind of mod their sheath so that they could, let's say, drip feed a poison into the sheath. So every time they put their dagger in the sheath, it reapplies its poison.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
kind of like slow cooking the dagger in poison.
yeah, we just leave it in there and sort of you shove something in and pull it out. It's just like, you might do a roll or something to see if there's still any left in it after that, because you might spill some, or you don't know how much is going to get taken off by the dagger or the blade or whatever. Or
I think DK's died.
Right, so
Or
what-
something down.
Yeah, what I've done is I've researched a way to have multiple poisons ready at one time. That's what I've just written down here.
Oh, well.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, we're not sure what Perry would be wanting to do for this time, but I'll see if I can get a chance to speak to him off stream. So that's what you guys are planning on doing for that.
I'm now sat on my bed, sort of furiously writing down like notation and sticking shit in the fucking thing.
Marcus is just getting ready to head back to town.
Okay. So I mean, you can have you guys. So you're heading back to town again. We'll do this very theatre of the mind in that regard. So you guys remember what a lot
I mean,
of
I've
the
got
places
the other
are?
one really loaded up as well, just in case.
I can load that one up. Actually.
Just for the main map, so I can look at the main map myself. Okay. Does the guild itself have a crest that they would put on the uniform?
Yes, there is a crest, basically like the whole breast pocket sort of thing for it. There is a panel there that you can have your where you can have your own sigil, or you can have the crest of the Silver Talons.
Yeah, I was gonna have the crest of the Silver Talons on like the centerpiece of the chest plate. 'Cause there's like a big white circle there. I was gonna put that there.
Okay.
But I don't know what the crest is or slash looks like.
It is a
Is
So
it a silver
pick-
talon, perchance?
It is, but it's a single talent, but it's on a like a black shield background with a very bright sort of like white piping around the edge of it, and the talent itself is in an ever so slightly off white grey,
When you say talon, you mean like bird talon?
like
yeah?
a claw, yeah.
I just
I
draw
mean,
black.
I can tell you the actual one of the actual bits of the story of the Silver Talons. What I've got here written in the bits that I've written down. Find exactly where it was again. I need to find it again. Yeah, so this basically it's the information about Ezekiel. So having spent some time chatting with Forik, this would be the other stuff you would have learned in conversation with him as well about Ezekiel. So he's a founding member and current council master of the Silver Talons. He's 476 years old, which means that even for a dwarf, he's quite an old dwarf. Originally hails from Citadel Adbar, which if I move I won't move the map up, but that is way
Totally
up
not
in the north.
Phasmodan.
It's not. It's really not. It's way up north in the Silver Coast. But yeah, so Ezekiel, he chose the life of exile and slayer when it became apparent that he was not the legitimate child of the noble that had been raising him, but rather of much lower birth, his mother having been of somewhat looser morals than many ever suspected. This is information that would all be available. He's not ashamed of his past because he's forged his own present and future, you know?
Yeah, he's proud of who he is.
A new
Exactly.
party stand alongside the dungeon.
Artifice with that raid. Thank you, my buddy. I hope you've been having a good day. Hope your stream was going well. We're just learning a bit about some of the other NPC characters that are in the world. Yeah, so so he spent many centuries on the road, seeking his own fame and glory, or at least an honourable death. Over time, he met and travelled with several allies, most of whom perished on their adventures, although some were lucky enough to be able to retire. 237 years ago, he founded the Silver Talons, when the group that he was a part of at the time undertook a quest to slay the Gargana, which is a large monstrous bird similar to a rock, but infused with magic causes it to take on the properties of metals. So I've already given the description of the Gargana from before.
Yeah.
So whilst they didn't recover the entire body, their boat returned to port with the mighty claw still embedded in the hull and the stump still dripping blood. So that was their proof of the kill, and they took their name from that as well. And they founded the Silver Talon Adventuring Guild.
It's got this brilliant image of
Very
him
cool.
like jumping at him, going, "Hey, I'm gonna take your fucking tour, you monstrous scurry!"
Yeah, it was just basically it was just a massive metal seagull prick.
Yeah, take that, you monstrous fuck!
Yeah, but that was he did that. So 237 years ago. So that would have been he did that at the
What happened to the
age of about
thingy?
250.
Did it die or did it just bugger off and never come back?
Well, they didn't manage to recover the body.
Ooh.
they're not too
Dun 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 dun. Foreshadowing.
237 years ago.
Magic can make people live forever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just letting you know about it.
You're just somewhere in the
the-
sea, is just a statue of the thing where it's completely metal. I was like, nah, the toe missing. What was that one?
Yeah.
Foot missing, technically.
Yeah, there you go. So that is where the name of the Silver Talons and everything comes from. So you guys, some of you are heading back to the city. Like I said, you do remember the places that there are in the city, places that you can go to.
Yeah.
Pangolins Hide for armor, which is also near to the Pangolins Hide, is True Strikes, which is an armorer that has a standing agreement with. Oh, cool! There's a pouch in there. I didn't realize I actually had a little pouch at the back of my book. It's nice, handy. Can put notes in there for extra notes for other stuff. So there's True Strikes, which is the weapon crafter, which is available. Which is one of the other places that you are aware of. I think you've actually maybe one or two of you have already visited as well.
Yeah, I think that's the first place that Marcus is going to head to.
So Marcus is going to be heading to True Strikes after missing the first morning of training of how it was meant to be his first morning of training with Fulric. So I'm sure there'll be no consequences from that.
So who's extra hard the next day? You completely forgot.
Who's actually come to the city then? Have all of you come to the city for the first day?
Yep, I think so.
Azra is coming because he wants to go to the library.
So I kind of thought that Fulric was in the room when they made these plans. So I thought he made it obvious that he was going to head
Cool
in
beans, nice
first
office,
and
man.
then
Have a good day, man. Second.
If you want to retcon it so that we get this thing for you and you can stay where you are, there's absolutely.
Yeah, I was under the influence that Fulric was in the room, so he heard that Marcus was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to go in and get the spear stuff sorted, and then I'll train hard from that moment forward."
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean that he's going to be accepting the fact that you haven't shown up.
I've already skipped a day of training.
But yeah, if you want to, if instead of going to the city, you want to tell the guys that you are looking for,
just a material to replace metal that.
Yeah, so Marcus hasn't come to the city then. That's fine. So Marcus is spending his first morning from 4 till 8 is spent with quite a bit of hard training, mostly getting the shit kicked out of him by the other monks because everyone needs a hazing ritual.
Yep.
Yes. Sounds good.
So you let me. So we go to a stonesmith and see if we can find you an obsidian spearhead.
Well, you're essentially what you're looking for isn't specifically like an obsidian spearhead. What you're looking for is because a weaponsmith is still going to be a good starting point to go for because you are looking for a non-metallic weapon head for a spear.
Right. Okay.
A non-metallic spearhead.
Right.
Can we see if like Azra finds anything in any of the books while he's reading?
What is Azra actually particularly looking up? Because if he's been looking up information regarding spells and that sort of stuff and magic, then he's not necessarily going to find information about material things.
Because I like to think that obviously his sort of thing is wanting to learn the airburst thingy more than anything else. So he's looking into like projectile spells and
looking at
air
who's doing
manipulation.
what. I'd say just at first glance, I'd say it seems most likely to me that Azra and Anakis would head to either the College of Mages or the college, one of the Bardic colleges, probably the College of Knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And Dotan would probably be the one going to the armorers and weaponsmiths to basically look into either a way of having a poison dispenser sort of type thing, or
a poison
something like that.
pouch.
Yeah,
Like one of those girls in the
that
bar
can be
with the tequila shots in the holster around it. Yeah, like that.
Or like the condiments.
Or
Yeah,
a weapon that has maybe a refillable reservoir or something like that. Maybe like because you get I don't know if you guys know what a poisoner's knife actually looks like.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
got a
like a
little
tube in
dipper.
the middle where you can
Yeah.
Like a cross between a
Whoa!
dagger and a
That's a-
syringe.
Wonderful blast of noise, blurt and burst of noise there. But yeah, when pretty much every poisoner's dagger design thing that I've ever seen, looked them up for lore reasons. Okay, there's a reason why I looked this stuff up. But it's normally what it is the blade has got a few perforations that go fully all the way through the metal of the blade. And the idea is that you would feed a piece of string or cotton or something through those holes, basically like feeding it up and through, like weaving it through the holes, and then that string, that fabric, is what actually holds the poison to make it so that you can, because if you just dip a blade in poison, you've dipped a blade in poison. Why would that poison ever bond to the blade? But if it soaks into the fabric, then you've got a reason why it would actually be a poisoned blade. So when I think poisonous knife, that's what I think. But maybe is it, if you go along that side of it, or you're going to make it so maybe there's a knife that has got a reservoir actually in the handle, and maybe it's like a partially hollow handle, and there's a bit where when you plunge the blade into somebody, there's like a particularly sharp point near the hilt, which is what when that is pressed down is when it releases a shot of poison. Have you got like 10 strikes worth of poison?
Way or something.
You press a button on the hilt as you stab in if you want to do a poison strike. So there's when you start thinking about like feasible technology that would be available in this world, the whole idea of like having a blade built around a push button release reservoir. There are gnomes in this world. That would be like the easiest thing in the world for them to develop.
Yeah.
So
they could knock that together with a bit of plastic and some fucking screws.
Yeah, it's stuff that's not difficult. Obviously, plastic and screws may be a little bit tricky in this world, but it's something where it's not unfeasible technology for this sort of world and this sort of realm. So I'm guessing that Dustin is probably the one that's carrying the design idea or is one being responsible for retrieving a weapon head for Marcus, and Azra and Anakis are going to be heading into the more academic area to find some information where we can. Thanks for the lurk, fresh meat.
Right now that Azra is on his best behaviour this time. No fucking about.
Okie dokie.
He's here. He's got a mission in mind and he wants to fucking do it.
Well, what we'll do is we'll do Dotan first, because Dotan's basically doing two things.
Isn't that Perry's
So we
job?
can-
Where?
Shots fired. No. So Dotan is for herself. She's looking for a way to have multiple dispensers of poison through some form or other, and is also looking at getting a.
With her different abilities to have the different dust.
Say again?
Sorry, that was don't worry, it's a Ruby reference.
Okay. And also looking for a non-metallic spearhead. So, where would Dotan think to go first?
Well, I don't know if we've actually come across any artificers, have we? Apart from
Not any artificers, no. You have met a gnome.
Yes. Where was the gnome? Hang on. Where's the map? I can't see.
Not a gnome. You've met a
town map. Where is it?
Oh shit! Have you met the gnome? Did you go to the jewelry store?
Yes, we've been to the jewelry store.
Yeah, because we went. Well, it wasn't me personally, but someone went there to sell some jewels that we found.
I think that was us as a party, so I think I found them.
Because there is Jenkins Jewelry, which has a halfling. Jenkins is the halfling.
Do you have like a gnome servant guy?
And there's a gnome companion there called Gadge, who's a bit of a tinkerer. Also, Kazak is a bit of a tinkerer as well. So not only does he do magical items, but he does do like things like little trinkets and stuff as well. So you've definitely been to Kazak's.
Yeah, we know him, and that would probably be the first place I would think of as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go. So he'll at least, if he can't do it, he might know someone that can.
Okay. So you're going to go and see Kazak then. Kevin, I'm sorry, but he is a dwarf. He's a little bit Scottish. You're not going to like it. He's only just barely Scottish though. It's a very very soft accent. Certainly is what was my intention is for him. Okay, so. Yeah, so you can go and see Kazak if you would like to, and he is, as you will have seen before, in his shop. It's never like a really busy shop. It's never like absolutely packed, but there's always 3 or 4 customers in the shop, and he's that polite professional sales advisor sort of thing for he's going from customer to customer, maybe spending 30 seconds to a minute with each customer, just generally chatting with them, maybe answering some questions they've got. But he's like when you go to like Curry's or something like that, and you end up speaking to one of the colleagues who actually really knows their stuff and is quite polite and respectful and isn't just all over you all the time. He's that sort of salesperson, you know?
A decent guy that doesn't just go, here, buy this useless thing for 80
Yeah.
quid that you don't need.
Exactly. He's the sort of one who'll pay attention to the needs that you've got. He'll spend some time. He'll answer the questions that you've got, and is like, so actually, you know what, the thing you need, I have got something that'll do it, and it's this thing over here, and it's actually significantly cheaper. So it's like he'll do what's right for the customer.
Yeah, a good guy.
And he prides himself on that as well, which is why he's always got quite a bit of business. There's always people in his shop. It may not necessarily be loads of people in his shop, but there is always business at his business.
He has
that is
regulars.
the point. So as you go in there, you see him as you've seen him plenty of times before, moving from customer to customer. He sees you, smiles, to you, seeing you come in. He recognises you clearly, but he's obviously he's got that mental cue in his head of which order he needs to get around to people in terms of when they came into the shop, and he does come after you. He's like, "Oh, hello there again, there. How can I help today?"
Might we have a word, perhaps out of earshot of your other customers? I'll lean in and whisper that to him, just so no one else can hear.
Certainly, come with me then. And he leads you to the back of the store where his point of sale. It's a little bit. It's slightly out of the. It's not particularly like out of the way. Like you can't see the rest of the shop, and people aren't going to see you. People are going to be able to see that you're talking with him. But it's like you're off to one side. It doesn't look like particularly of a nefarious area, but it's very clear that this is a place where. It is considered to be a private area. People don't come too close to it unless unless they specifically need him for a thing. They're not going to come over in that area. So how can I help?
Wondering if you might help me out with a bit of custom work, actually. I was looking. I'm just about to become a full member of the Silver Talons. I was wondering if you might help me with something I thought might be beneficial to me. I'm quite proficient in the use of poisons, and I was wondering if there was some way that I could have perhaps a dagger that had some way of administering poisons without having to manually reapply every time I want to use them. Because
Right. Well,
in a pinch, it can take a little while.
I mean, obviously, this is a sort of thing where it's not what one would consider to be. Well, I mean, it doesn't automatically make it evil, does it? It's not necessarily nefarious. There's plenty of reasons why people use poison. Things like paralytic agents and stuff, for example. If you're trying to take people captive and not knock out, if you're trying to take a bandit captain hostage or something like that and bring them back to the city, and so I can understand why you'd want to do that.
You can poison a wolf as much as you can poison a noble.
Yeah, I'm a worldly enough dwarf that I understand that there are sometimes. One must use other means to achieve one's objectives. I've heard of plenty of things there. Well, let me have a quick look through my inventory here then. And he moves around to the other side of his desk and gets out the familiar, the massive boomph tome of his inventory and his notes and things like that, and starts flicking through. Like, right, okay, let's see now. Look at them. Well, I mean, do you actually already have a poisonous kit? Do you have a way of manufacturing your own stuff?
I do. I can
Okay,
I can make whatever I need. It's just administering.
No idea. No, he's flicking through. He's like, there is a lot of pages here, and he's just like, he seems to be struggling to find anything really particularly clear in it. He goes, well, there. I did find that somebody turned in to me here as like it's a dagger. It looks like sort of like a sacrificial dagger sort of thing, but it's made out of this peculiar like a peculiar sort of like a rough material. Like it's not like smooth like a blade would normally be. It's not going to slide as easily in and out of things. But it does mean that there's little places where like the any substance attached to the blade or the blade is dipped in is maybe a bit like less likely to need to be reapplied as often, but it's probably not the sort of thing you're looking for, to be honest. Also, it's not a very it's just a knife, and to be honest, it's just a little bit boring. I have got here a reservoir dagger, which is got a little you fill up a capsule, so you could do it's you control the release of the poison down the blade or to the wound at the point of striking somebody, so you have the choice when you are striking someone about whether or not you want to release the poison. It's not a particularly large reservoir though, it'll only hold 2 or 3 doses of whatever you put into it, and you can only put one thing into it as well, so I don't know how useful that will be to you.
That sounds a lot more useful than what I have now. Anything else you can think of?
Well, I've got a. It's like an alchemist's belt, which has got multiple little pouches and pockets in it, which are all fully oiled and lined, so that you can have various substances put into them. So it's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing to make, and you know it's not that easy to tell how much is in the thing without actually opening it up and taking a good look in there. And you need to remember what's actually in each pouch as well. But I've got this. His belt has got 6 or 7 pouches on it. I can't remember. I need to dig it out and let you know exactly how many are on there. But it's got a few pouches on there, little pouches that could be filled with substances. That might be something useful to you.
Well,
But something
could you do me a
specifically.
favour? If you could get me out the reservoir dagger so I can take a look, and also the belt just so I can see, because if the belt is heat battle, if it's going to be fiddly, then it won't be much good. But it depends on how it feels.
Hey, certainly, yeah. Bear with me a moment. And he disappears out to he has a quick look around his shop to see what's going on with it. And all right, okay. He disappears out back. He's gone for about 5 minutes. And he comes back with a belt basically slung over his shoulder, and he's holding a dagger in it's very clearly like a dagger in a sheath sort of thing. And he puts them both down on top of the desk. So, well, this is the dagger, and this is the belt. You see here, it's got 6 pouches on the belt, and it's more like a bandolier sort of thing. So you can tell from the size of the belt, and also I don't know if you've ever seen how bandoliers are put together and stuff. Or like the shop is they always cut at a bit of an angle. So it's very clear that this is the sort of thing where it doesn't go. It's not a belt that goes around your waist.
Yeah. So it would maybe like be attached to my left hip and then droop down a little on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? If there was some way of using the reservoir system to draw stuff up into it, both of them at the same time might be quite handy.
Well, the way it works, he pulls the dagger out. Now, the way it works, right, is if you see this bit here, and he shows it like at the hilt of the dagger, there's a small button that you can press on it, and when you press down on it, near the base of the blade of the dagger, when you press down on it, it's sort of like it retracts away from itself. So like when you press it down, it pulls down out the way, and you can see that there's a hole there. So this is the release here, and this is the bit where I'll show you what I mean. And he lets it go back again, and just unscrews the very very base of the handle, and out comes about an inch and a half of cork, which is attached to that bit. Right, look, and he grabs his water skin, pours a small amount of water into it, pops it back in again, puts it together again, and then when he puts it over his cup, when he presses the button for it, you can see it get a very a very slow trickle of water come out down along the blade.
Right. Yep.
So that's how that works for it. And obviously, it depends on what you put in there. If it's a poison that is like a powder or something like that, it's not going to work. So you're only going to have limited capabilities with this. So depending on what you're making and what you're using, this isn't necessarily going to be the best thing to use for it. But it is a dagger that can be used to dispense a poison upon the blade.
Yes. Okay. That does look very interesting. Now the bandolier. Let's take a look at that.
Well, see, he just lays it out and opens up some of the pockets. So as you can see, they're just like a water skin, but smaller and pouch form.
Yeah. If I could try it on. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. And
Okay,
he
I'll
shows
try
you
it
like
on and
where you can adjust it and stuff.
Yeah, so I'll,
It's got
I'll try it on. And
It's
then,
got a. It's very clear that like one end is the top end and one is the belt. So like the each of the pouches is sort of like mounted at a slight angle on the belt. So there's very clear that there is a right way up, as it were, and it goes basically it loops over from your left shoulder and goes down, and there's a large metal ring. When he shows you that the idea is that you put your regular belt, you feed that through the large metal ring, so you've got the whole thing holds itself together a bit more easily, so it keeps some tension on there. So he shows you how you would attach it.
Cool. So then, and then I'll just spend a couple of minutes, sort of like trying it out, sort of like just opening the things up, closing them up, seeing if I can get things in the pouches and see how useful it is going to be to me. So, for example, would I be able to sort of like stick the tip of a dagger into the into one of these pouches quickly?
You'd be able to quickly get it open and put the tip of the dagger into it. But it's the nature of how they are. Then it's not like they're not like taped or anything for it. The pouches.
For it,
so it's not designed for that. They're designed to make it so like you can easily like dip a finger into it and then run that along the blade. That's what he recommends.
Not necessarily
as a way to use
something that you might want to do, depending on the nature of the poison.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I think I can. The poison, the belt wouldn't necessarily be useful for what I'd envisioned it for, but it would be useful nonetheless. How much for both?
I'll give you the both of them for. Let's see, the blade there because of the technology, the mechanism. Both of them together would be 10 gold. I can let you do your deal for both of them together.
10 gold sounds perfect. 1 second.
It's based off the fact that an actual dagger is only 2 gold pieces, so just working off the back of that.
It sounds fair to me. I don't apparently have any money on me at all, like not even so much as a silver. I'm not sure if that's right.
That does not sound right.
No.
I'm just going to pick up your other thing from the other character sheets. Just quickly jump onto that bit via the stream can stream. Because everything should have ported across. Because I ported across all the character sheets. You should be on 54 gold pieces and 4 copper pieces. So if you want to update that bit.
Okay, 54 on 4 copper.
Yep. Kev.
Yo.
Just whilst I've got here, I'll go through all of you just to make sure you've all got your correct amount of money. Last update for you, Kev, was 150 gold pieces.
Sounds about right.
You are quite well minted. Marcus, I'm fairly sure, is skint.
I've got 2 gold pieces, 19 silver, and 19 copper.
Let's just double check off the character sheet on this bit as well, because I did move all these across, but just to make sure everything has. Yep, that's right. So 2 gold, 19 silver, 19 copper. Yep. And Azra better bloody well be skint after what shit he pulled.
I have 1 gold.
Yep. Oh yeah, 1 gold. Yeah.
Pocket change because I was busking on the way back to the thingy.
Yeah, one gold, 4 silver, 8 copper.
Yep.
So I'm not quite sure how they ended up not keeping your cash there, Grav, but it's yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. So I've already taken 10 off for the dagger, and was that the dagger and the belt?
Dagger and the belt, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, I'm not sure if you yourself might be able to help, but you might know someone that can. A friend of mine was looking for a spearhead that is not metal. He doesn't work very well with metal, and I was wondering if he could find something like stone or maybe some very, very hard wood, or I don't know, a dragon's talon, anything.
I do remember actually seeing something that came in a little while ago. Bear with me just a moment. He disappears out onto his shop floor, and he quite rapidly goes along his shelves, and then he comes back over, with a couple of items in his hand. He's like, I don't have just like as a piece, but I have got these two things here, and he puts them out to you. So we've got here. This is a dagger with a blade that's been basically well. The dagger is a piece of a crystal, which you see here has just got like leather wrapped around the piece of it to act as a handle.
Right.
So you don't cut your hand open. So I've got that, and the whole dagger's only about like it's less than 12 inches long.
Right.
It's very clearly like from like some pygmy tribe or something. I've got this one here, which is, well, to be honest with you, I don't know what it's made from, but it's not made of metal. It looks like it's made of metal, but when you actually inspect the blade a little bit more closely, you see all the like chips and nicks that are taken out of it. That it's not metal. It looks like some form of metallic substance, but it when you look at it a little bit more closely, it seems like it's possibly made out of some form of stone, but it's kind of hard to tell.
That sounds intriguing. Looks intriguing.
It's just basically a pair of daggers.
A pair of daggers. You know what? How much for the pair?
Well, I'm afraid I don't actually know too much about them, or if they have any extra capabilities. I mean, the dagger's made out of crystal. Because it's made out of crystal, it is something that can potentially, if someone is properly trained in it, could potentially have quite a lot of magic stored inside it, because it's a type of crystal. But it depends on the magical person, the sort of crystal it actually is. I don't really know as much about it other than it's a blade made out of crystal. That's as much as I know about it. But because of the potential within it, I couldn't really let it go for less than 15 gold pieces on its own because of the potential value to it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. See, I'm thinking I might get both of these, and then I might end up using the one that my colleague doesn't use. So if that one's possibly magic, he'd probably appreciate that one. How much for the other one?
Well, this one, it's. I'm not going to lie to you. It seems that it does degrade a bit more quickly as well. You see, it's got quite a lot of chips and nicks in this, little scratches. I don't know how long it's going to last. So this thing probably just a couple of gold pieces.
Okay. So 16 for both.
Hey, go on then, lass.
Thank you very much. I shall I shall let you know how we get on, if we do, in fact, get on. Thank you very much for your help.
No, you're welcome. Pleasure doing business with you.
See you again soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's on that bit. And given that we are 5 minutes to 10, I'm actually thinking of stopping there, and because you guys doing your stuff with learning some stuff and magic is gonna take a bit of time to go over, because it's a bit more complex on that regard. So again, for some bizarre reason, Streamlabs chatbot doesn't like to do or didn't like to do the recordings at the same time, so I'm going to need to download this session afterwards so I can get uploaded onto YouTube, which I'll be doing all the uploading. I'll start that going Tuesday morning. But thank you everyone for joining us. We are now going to go and find someone to pass the love on to, and today is Sunday, so I think that means that Unlikely GM is going to be on. So let's just have a quick looky loo and see if he is indeed still about. Let's just refresh that view, shall we? I'm sure that he was on
That's better.
for Sundays.
I was wondering why I was having like
Yes,
no
indeed,
movement
they are
with
on.
the headset.
So we're going to go say hello to Unlikely GM, because today is Sunday and it is, sometimes it's nice to have a bit of a pattern. So there is the raid command. So if you are a subscriber, then obviously that means you get to make use of the DK hype that is in there, the hype pipe. And if you're not, then just spam whatever emotes you've got as we go and say hello to Rem and the gang over on Unlikely GM's channel. Make sure I spell it correctly, it's always a good start as well.
Usually.
There you go. So, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back again, obviously we'll be back again next week with the Sunday Wolves, and we'll also be back again tomorrow with the Monday Bears as we finish off our weekend of D&D. Yes, information stuff coming up for July. I'll do the rest of that in the next stream because we've already started the raid going. So take care, my friends. Praise be to our own Jesus, and we love you all. Bye, 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 bye. Say bye, bye, everybody.
Bye.